It's mailbag time here at Chat Sports. All the questions coming in from our live audience. So if you want your questions on the show, go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss out in the future. From Amos Jefferson, any chance the Broncos sign Cam if he stays a free agent and the quarterbacks struggle? Maybe. I lean towards no, because if Teddy Bridgewater is bad and Drew Lock is bad too, Denver is probably at that point in the season where it's all over, and they're just going to keep playing Drew Lock to see if the young guy can show some promise down the stretch. So I get it. If there are injuries at quarterback to Denver, that starts to make more sense, because in theory they could still be contending at that point. I don't know what happens to Cam Newton. He might try to wait for an injury, or maybe he goes the Jameis Winston route and signs with as a veteran backup to sit and learn for a year, which that could maybe make some sense. What do you guys think, though, as it relates to Cam Newton? Will he start a game this season? Get your votes in. This is the pinned comment on today's video. 1 for yes or 0 for no. If you get the ad break, go get your votes in right now. Cheater Jewel text, does Denver have a top 5 D, if not top 10 D? I absolutely think so. I think this Denver Broncos defense is going to be very, very good this year. Oh, by the way, since we had a fantasy question earlier, I like to rotate my defense all season long. I picked up Denver in the last round. I think that's a very good pickup for fantasy because, A, the opening schedule is good. Giants, Jags, Jets, the first 3 weeks. Those should be 3 good matchups for Denver. Now, do they win all 3? Who knows? It's not that hard of a schedule. I like Denver both in real life and in fantasy. David Evans coming in late. You're just in time, David. Where do you believe Denver should give one more look into before the season starts? I mean, it's too late because the answer is quarterback. You're stuck at that position. Beyond that, I got the depth chart pulled up here. I love the defense. If you want to add maybe a backup edge, I guess you could, but I think you're fine there. Offensive line is as good as it's going to get. Honestly, I think they're fine. It's just a matter of, does the quarterback work out enough? From Caleb Edelman, Super Bowl winners for 2021. The Chiefs take down Chiefs take down the Packers as the Aaron Rodgers revenge tour comes up just a little bit short. I don't mind the Bills. I don't mind the Browns out of the AFC. In the NFC, I don't think the Bucs make it back, but who knows? It's Tom Brady, and we should never, ever, ever bet against him.
Anita, should the Broncos get Clayborn? I understand the idea of going out and getting Clayborn, and sure, he might be able to help, and I believe last season he played only like 35% of the snaps, but when he was on the field, he was actually a pretty productive player. I like, obviously, Bradley Chubb and Anita. Maybe you need a Chubb as well, but Von Miller, some solid edge rushers, but you could always use some extra people off the edge. So, yes, I do think Adrian Clayborn would actually be a pretty solid get by the Denver Broncos. What up, Panif? Appreciate the question. Who will be Rookie of the Year? Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson? Who will win Defensive Rookie of the Year? In terms of the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go ahead and probably just put my money on Trevor Lawrence. It's not the most entertaining way to do it, but I'm probably also going to say Zach Wilson has a chance. Mac Jones obviously does, but Trevor Lawrence is going to go ahead and be my pick. And then in terms of being Defensive Rookie of the Year, it's a pretty good question. Marshall just said Merrick in my ear. No, I mean, the issue is that there weren't a lot of super talented players drafted all that high at the defensive position. Usually, a defensive end wins it. Jalen Phillips is obviously drafted pretty high. Patrick Surtain's a name to throw out there. Jalen Horn is a name to throw out there. So, J.C. Horn, excuse me. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and say Patrick Surtain. What NFL team will surprise people when nobody believes in them? So a surprise NFL team that nobody believes in. I don't know if the Patriots are on that list, but I can see that defense being super legit. I might just be saying this because I'm a Raider fan, but I also think the Broncos could also be a big-time surprise team with Teddy Bridgewater. The Washington football team, yes, they won the division, but they were 7-9 last year. And then, I don't know if the 49ers are up there, but that defense is scary, scary good. What up, Noah? Who do you think will be comeback player of the year? It's Dak Prescott, and if I had to say, all right, I can't pick Dak Prescott, maybe I go with somebody like Christian McCaffrey, maybe, I don't know, Saquon Barkley as well. Noah Dye, will Matthew Stafford be Offensive Player of the Year? It's really hard to be able to predict the future, but if there is one thing I can confidently say, no, Matthew Stafford is not going to win Offensive Player of the Year. I just can't imagine a world where that happens. Anish, what NFL team that didn't make the playoffs last year will make it this year, and what team that made the playoffs last year will miss the playoffs this year? Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and say, a sneaky team could be the 49ers. If that quarterback room can just be decent, that could be a team that ends up making it. And then a team that made the playoffs that I don't think makes it this year is the Indianapolis Colts. I just don't have a lot of confidence in Carson Wentz. Also, a lot of injuries to that offensive line. They lost They're going to not have T.Y. Hilton for a little bit. So making the playoffs could be the 49ers. Missing the playoffs, I'm going to go ahead and say the Indianapolis Colts. We got Tom Downey's actual account. Who will be the first head coach to not last this season? So basically the first head coach that's going to end up getting fired. Great question. Oh boy, I'm going to go ahead and say there's a part of me that wonders if Matt Nagy would be on that list, where I don't know if the scenario is the Bears are just absolutely just terrible. That could be a scenario. You know what? I'm going to go that route there. That's going to be my route. Matt Nagy. Alize, rank your top 5 running backs this year. I'm going to go ahead and say, actually, before I get this one in, use hashtag NFL or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. My top 5 running backs probably are some orders: Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. And then if you're just talking about talent, I think Barkley deserves to be up there, but I'm going to go ahead and say Nick Chubb. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram, you can do it at MitchellRens365. If you want to see Marshall Green's Nick Chubb, go ahead and give him a follow on his OnlyFans at MarshallGreen_. If I missed your question here on today's show, seriously, hit me up. We're always taking questions. But if you want to follow Marshall on Twitter, it's a lot better than going ahead and submitting money to his OnlyFans. Either way, it's at MarshallGreen_.